New York City is a living, breathing testament to human ambition. Its skyline is a tapestry woven from steel, glass, and dreams. But for every iconic building that pierces the sky, there are countless others that never made it past the drawing board. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of New York's unbuilt architectural dreams, visions that could have transformed the city as we know it, but for one reason or another, remain only in our imaginations. Hi, I'm Maria, an architectural designer and founder of Bogat Architecture and Design. Welcome to today's videos, Forgotten Futures, New York's Unbuilt Architectural Dreams. We're thrilled to have you join us as we embark on a fascinating journey through the architectural wonders that never came to be in the vibrant city of New York. The city's unbuilt environment is shaped not only by what stands, but also what could have stood. Each block, each empty lot, and even each familiar landmark is haunted by the ghosts of unbuilt projects, some practical, some fantastical, all a testament of the city's restless creativity. These projects are more than just curiosities. They are windows into the hopes, anxieties, and aspirations of their times. They show us how architects and planners grappled with the challenges of urban life, technological change, and shifting cultural values. Sometimes these projects were simply ahead of their time. Sometimes they were too expensive, too radical, or just too impractical. But even in failure, they left a mark, pushing the boundaries of what was possible and inspiring future generations to keep dreaming. Before we jump into the specifics, let's talk about why these unbuilt projects are so important. Architecture isn't just about what gets built, it's also about what could have been. The unbuilt projects of New York are more than just curiosities. They're windows into the hopes, anxieties, and aspirations of their times. They show us how architects and planners grappled with challenges of urban life, technological change, and shifting cultural values. Unbuilt projects often serve as laboratories for innovation. They allow architects to experiment with new forms, materials, and ideas without the constraints of budgets, politics, or public opinions. Even when these projects remain on paper, they can influence the direction of architectural thought and inspire future generations. In some cases, elements of unbuilt designs resurface years or even decades later, subtly shaping the city's evolution. Moreover, projects reflect the broader social, economic, and political currents of their eras. They reveal the ambitions of developers, the anxieties of city officials, and the dreams of ordinary New Yorkers. By studying what was proposed and why it wasn't built, we gain a deeper understanding of these forces that have shaped and continue to shape the city. So let's start with one of the most audacious visions, which is Frank Lloyd Wright's key project for Ellis Island. In 1959, Wright imagined transforming the historic immigration station to a futuristic city within a city. Picture this: 7 candlestick-shaped towers surrounding a central globe, housing 7,500 residents, complete with hospitals, theaters, and restaurants. It was a bold attempt to reimagine urban living on an island steeped in history. Wright's proposal was as much as a social experiment as an architectural one. He envisioned a self-contained community that would blend residential, commercial, and cultural functions in a harmonious whole. The design reflected Wright's lifelong interest in organic architecture and his belief in the power of design to shape society. But the federal government had other plans. Ultimately, all development bids for Ellis Island were rejected, and the site became a national monument. Still, Wright's vision remains a powerful reminder of how architecture can reframe our relationship with history and place. Imagine if Ellis Island had become a bustling mini-city rather than a museum. How might have that changed the narrative of immigration and memory in America? Next up, we have Buckminster Fuller's geodesic dome, a proposal so futuristic it still boggles the mind. Fuller envisioned a 2-mile-wide dome midtown Manhattan, designed to regulate weather and reduce energy consumption. Imagine walking through Times Square in a climate-controlled bubble, shielded from the elements year-round. Fuller's dome was more than just a technical marvel. It was a radical rethinking of urban life. By controlling the environment, Fuller hoped to create a more comfortable, efficient, and sustainable city. The dome would have reduced heating and cooling costs, improving air quality, and even protected residents from pollution and noise. While the idea was technologically ahead of its time, it was also wildly impractical. The engineering challenges were immense, and the cost would have been astronomical. The dome never made it past the conceptual stage, but it continues to inspire architects and urbanists to think big about sustainability and the built environment. Today, as cities grapple with climate change and resource scarcity, Fuller's vision feels more relevant than ever. In the mid-1950s, architect I.M. Pei proposed a 108-story hourglass-shaped skyscraper, the Hyperboloid, to replace Grand Central Terminal. The design was striking, futuristic, and controversial. The tower's hyperbolic form would have been a dramatic departure from the rectilinear skyscrapers that dominated the skyline. Pei's proposal was a part of a broader movement to modernize New York's infrastructure and architecture in the post-war era. The city was booming, and developers were eager to capitalize on rising land values. But tragedy struck. The head of the New York Central Railroad, who accompanied the project, died by suicide in 1957, and without his support, the project was shelved and Grand Central was spared. This episode is a poignant reminder of how personal stories and institutional politics can shape the fate of entire city blocks. Today, Grand Central Terminal is celebrated as a masterpiece of beautiful art, architecture, and a symbol of the city's resilience. But for a brief moment, it was almost replaced by a soaring monument to modernity. Urban congestion has always been a challenge for New York. In 1925, architect Raymond Hood proposed a radical solution: build 50 to 60-story apartment buildings directly atop the city's bridges. Each structure would have housed 50,000 residents on either side, integrating living spaces with infrastructure. Hood's vision was both practical and utopian. By stacking housing above transportation corridors, he hoped to make more efficient use of limited urban land. The skyscraper bridges would have created new neighborhoods in the sky, complete with shops, schools, and parks. It was a bold attempt to rethink density and connectivity, but ultimately, the idea was deemed unfeasible. The engineering challenges were daunting, and the cost would have been prohibitive. Still, it shows how architects have long grappled with the question of how to make the most of limited urban space. Today, as cities around the world experiment with vertical living and mixed-use development, Hood's vision feels surprisingly contemporary. The Museum of Modern Art is a New York icon, but its first permanent home could have looked very different. Architects William Howe and George Lescase submitted 6 modernist designs featuring industrial aesthetics and Cubist influences. These proposals broke with the neoclassical tradition, embracing the avant-garde spirit of the era. Howe and Lescase's designs were radical for their time. They used glass, steel, and concrete to create open, flexible spaces that would showcase modern art in a modern setting. The proposals reflected the growing influence of European modernism and the desire to break free from the historical styles. In the end, their designs weren't selected, and the museum we know today was designed by Edward Durrell Stone and Philip Goodwin. But Howe and Lescase's vision helped push the boundaries of what a museum could be. Their work paved the way for later experiments in museum design, from the Guggenheim to the Whitney. No discussion of New York's unbuilt dreams would be completed without Robert Moses. In 1939, the master builder proposed 6,500-foot-long bridge connecting Brooklyn to Manhattan at the island's southern tip. The plan received initial approvals, but was ultimately rejected by the War Department for security reasons. Instead, we got the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. Moses's bridge would have been a monumental feat of engineering, reshaping the city's waterfront and alternating traffic patterns for generations. The project sparked fierce debate, with supporters touting its potential to ease congestion and opponents warning of its impact on historical neighborhoods and the harbor. This story highlights the complex interplay between ambition, bureaucracy, and the politics good in shaping the city's infrastructure. Moses's legacy is still debated today, but there's no denying his impact on the city's physical and social landscape. Fast forward to the turn of the millennium. In 2000, Frank Gehry unveiled plans for a new Guggenheim Museum along the East River on Lower Manhattan. The design was classic Gehry, sculptural, dynamic, and instantly recognizable. The museum would have featured undulating forms clad in titanium, glass, and limestone, creating a dramatic new landmark on the waterfront. Despite initial excitement, the project faced financial and logistical challenges and was ultimately abandoned. The collapse of the dot-com bubble and the aftermath of 9/11 made fundraising difficult, and concerns about flooding and access proved hard to overcome. Even so, Gehry's vision continues to influence museum design and waterfront developments in New York and beyond. The project sparked a broader conversation about the role of cultural institutions in urban revitalization and the importance of bold, visionary architecture. In the 1960s, architect Moshe Safdie sought to bring his modular housing concept, made famous for Montreal's Habitat 67, to New York. Proposed sites included areas near Gracie Mansion and the Fulton Fish Market. The design featured prefabricated concrete modules stacked in a variety of configurations, creating flexible, affordable housing with ample green space. Despite the innovative design, the projects were never realized due to financial and logistical hurdles. The cost of building in New York was much higher than in Montreal, and city officials were wary of untested construction methods. Safdie's vision remains a touchstone for architects interested in modular, sustainable urban housing. Today, as cities grapple with housing shortages and environmental challenges, the ideas behind Habitat New York are more relevant than ever. The High Line is now one of New York's most beloved parks. But in 1980, architect Stephen Hall had a different idea. He proposed building a series of residential units, bridge of houses atop the abandoned elevated rail line. The design included a variety of house types separated by courtyards, preserving the railway while providing much needed housing. Hall's proposal was an early example of adaptive reuse, transforming obsolete infrastructure into vibrant new spaces. The project would have created a unique urban village, blending private and public realms in innovative ways. The project was never released, but the spirit of adaptive reuse lives in the High Line's transformation into a public park. Hall's vision reminds us that the city's past can be a resource for its future. And finally, let's talk about one of the wildest ideas of all. William Zeckendorf's plan for a rooftop airport in Midtown Manhattan. In 1945, Zeckendorf proposed building an airport 200 feet above street level, right in the heart of the city. The airport would have featured runways, terminals, and parking for thousands of cars, all suspended above the bustling streets below. It was a bold vision for the future of urban mobility, but ultimately, it was just too impractical to build. The engineering challenges were immense, and concerns about noise, safety, and air traffic made the project a non-starter. Still, Zeckendorf's proposal captures the spirit of post-war optimism and the belief that technology could solve any problem. Today, as cities explore new forms of urban transportation, from drones to air taxis, the dream of a rooftop airport doesn't seem quite so far-fetched. So, what do these forgotten futures tell us about New York City? They remind us that the city is always in flux, a place where ambition and imagination collide with reality. Even the wildest, most impractical dreams can leave a lasting mark, shaping the way we think about architecture, urban life, and the future. As we walk the streets of New York, it's worth remembering that every block, every building, every empty lot is haunted by the ghosts of unbuilt dreams. These visions, though unrealized, continue to inspire architects, planners, and dreamers to push the boundaries of what is possible. And who knows, maybe the next great idea is just waiting for its moment. The city's story is still being written, and its future remains as open and unpredictable as ever. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more content on architecture, design, and the stories that shape our cities. Until next time.